Hi guys, welcome back to Everything God's Way. I am your host. My name is Elizabeth, and I know it's been a minute since I've been on here, and I'm super duper excited for this. Not only because of the topic that we're going to be discussing, but because it's been so long since I've been on here, and I've been waiting for this moment for like 2 days now. So no, actually a week. It's been a week since I've been waiting for this day. And I finally have gotten the time to sit down and do this video. So with further ado, let's get straight into it. If you guys see me looking down at any point in time in this video, it's because I have my notes here. Y'all know I'm very forgetful, so I always gotta write everything down. Okay, so there are 5 major things that men are supposed to be getting from us as women, outside of that are non-sexual, of course. The first thing is love. The second thing is care. Third thing is respect. Fourth thing is provision. The fifth thing is protection. And of course, we provide our 5 of these things in very different ways than men provide them to us. We are going to be discussing the ways that you can tell that you are not ready to be a wife. The first point is that if a man is speaking on how he feels makes him weak or sassy in your eyes, you are not ready. If you have the mindset of I'm single until I'm married, you are not ready. If you are at the clubs every weekend, partying out with your girls, with your girlfriends, or your homeboys, whatever the case can be, and you know, you're showing your booty, you're overly sexualizing yourself, showing your boobs, showing your body in general, you are not ready to be a wife. It's not saying that you can't show skin, because there's nothing wrong with showing a little bit of skin. It is when you start to overly sexualize yourself that it becomes an issue and a problem. If a man paying for your bills is your definition of what makes a man, you are not ready to be a wife to any man, let alone a man of God. We as women, we have to stop being or having poor mindsets and behaviors and expect a man with good intentions who is a man of God and has all of the green flags and characteristics. Even if you do not want a man of God, a lot of women want the characteristics of a man of God. So provision, protection, leadership, self-control, emotional control, discipline. All those things are traits and characteristics that a lot of men of God have. Now, it's not saying that men are perfect. It's not saying that men are just have complete control all of the time, because that's not the case. So I don't want you guys to think that that is, because it's not. Like, there's been times when I've seen people walk up to a man that is a man of God and, you know, has faith in our Heavenly Father, and they'll just try to just be so arrogant and ignorant, and they would try to like ruffle his feathers, and he would just completely just be like, nah, just big smile on his face. And then at the end of it, he'll ask if, you know, he can pray for the person that, you know, has walked up to him trying to, you know, ruffle his feathers and everything like that. So that's a perfect example of what I mean. Like, just having that control and having such a close relationship with God that nothing can trigger you to want to do something that is not of his will, that is not of God's will, right? And so, yeah, so if you want any of those things that I just listed in a man, then you want the characteristics of a man of God. You might not necessarily want the man of God, right? Like, you might not necessarily want the man that goes to church, that prays, that is head over heels for God. But you still want those traits and those characteristics. You still want the discipline. You still want the self-control. You still want the emotional control. You still want the emotional intelligence. You still want the provision, the leadership, the good characteristics and the good qualities and the good traits that everybody looks for, right? The next point is you attract what you are. So if you have a little girl's mindset, then you should expect to only attract a man with a little boy's mindset. We as women do need men. So the whole independent, I can do bad all by myself. Oh, Tyler Perry, baby, don't play. Anyways, that just reminded me of that movie. I love that movie so much. Yeah, I could do bad all by myself. It will never benefit a woman who wants to be a wife and a mother. Now, if you are a woman that doesn't want to be either one of those things, then this video is not for you. So you can keep on skipping right past this video. Now we are going to be talking about the way that you can tell that you are ready, which is basically the opposite of what would tell you that you're not ready. And so, yeah. First point is to check up on him daily. Make sure that he is okay. I don't know why we live in a world where we just think that men are just robots, basically, and that they have no emotions. But men very much so do need love. They need to be cared for. They do need to be supported. And if you are a woman that feels as if, you know, you cannot do that, or are unwilling to do it, then again, you're not ready to be a wife. The next point is to cater to that man. Show your appreciation for all that he does for you, his family, and for God. So men of God, they are servants of God. He has given him a wife that is respectful to him. He has given him a wife that is that loves him, that cares for him, that respects him, that protects him, that provides for him in the ways that she can, right? The next point is to nurture to him. Make sure he is fed. And just making his life easier. And this can be anything, you know what I mean? It doesn't necessarily have to be cooking or cleaning, you know what I mean? Because those are not the only two things that, you know, you can give. So, you know, while cooking and cleaning are very much so good traits to have and very much so good things to know how to, know how to do and everything like that, they are not the only things. So just try not to put all of your value or all the value into cooking and cleaning, or you knowing how to cook and clean, because they are not the most important things for you to know how to do. And that is for sure. That is for sure a fact. The next point is to be soft and feminine with that man. Allow him to lead. And we are not talking about just any man. Again, this platform, the name of this platform is Everything God's Way. So, of course, when I'm talking about men, I'm specifically speaking about men of God. So when we talk about men, we are talking about men who are led by God, who are submitted to God, excuse me. And if you are a woman that, wants to submit and allow a man to lead that is not a man of God, and that's perfect, and that's perfectly fine, because I would assume that you yourself are not a woman of God. So I don't think there's any issue with that. it's just, it becomes an issue and a problem when it becomes unequally yoked. Because if you are a woman that is a woman of God and you're submitting and allowing a man that is not a man of God to lead you, I hope you understand the point that I'm trying to make. That is not a good situation for you to put yourself in. And trust me, I know I've been in an unequally yoked relationship before. So if anybody knows how that goes, it's going to be me. And it never ends well for the person with the good intentions. It never ends well with the person that that pours their all into the relationship. It almost always ends up in that person getting hurt, or that person walking away, or having to walk away, or the case may be. But the thing is that even if you have to walk away, or even if you get hurt, the thing is that now there's nothing stopping you. There's nothing in the way of your relationship with God. So in a way, it's like, even though you lost, you won at the same time, if that makes sense. So yeah, the next point, it actually is tied to that last point that I discussed, which is to submit to that man. Again, that man is and will be submitted to God, to our Heavenly Father. Okay. The next point is to be patient with that man. I struggle with this so much, y'all. I struggle with this one so much. And I know it. He knows it. My husband probably knows it. It's something that I'm willing to admit, though. You know what I mean? And that this is how I know I'm not ready and prepared to be a wife. Because I struggle with this so much. Like with kids, it's different. You know what I mean? I feel like I have way more patience for kids than I do grown adults. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have that same patience, because it's just like, you're a grown person. Like, I expect you to know certain stuff, right? You know? And so, yeah, but it is definitely something that I'm working on. And, you know, I'm growing and learning how to do with my therapist. Nobody really talks about how hard that is, though. And it's not even really necessarily hard. It's just, it takes so much time to heal and to grow and to learn. You know what I mean? Learn the behaviors that you were never taught, or learn things that you were never taught. You know what I mean? Like, I was never taught how to be patient. I was never taught how to have emotional control. I was never taught how to communicate properly either, right? So these are all things that I'm working towards, all things that I'm working on as we speak, right? This one kind of ties into the you attract what you are scenario point that I brought up earlier in the video, and it is be head over heels for God, and you will attract that exact same kind of man. A wife does not pay attention to gender roles. She is there to provide and protect in the ways that she knows how, as I said previously in the video. Spiritually, emotionally, mentally, etc. She prays for her man, her husband. Now, make no mistake, any woman can do this, whether she's a wife or not. However, a wife will hold her husband's hand and they will pray together. She will pray with him, she will pray for him, and she will pray about him. She will also not be afraid to do so in an environment, even when it may seem weird or crazy. And so let's say public, you know what I mean, outside, just maybe in the streets, you know what I mean, driving, well, maybe at a gas station or something, right? And something happens, and it causes her to want to pray for you right then and there, right? So holding your head or your face, or even just your two foreheads, her forehead on your forehead, or your foreheads together. Sorry, I had to think about that real quick. Even that scenario, and her just praying for you like that, you could automatically assume that, like, people around you that are not people of God, of course, they're gonna look at that, and they're gonna kind of look at it like, oh, okay, what the heck is she doing? That's kind of weird. Da 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 da. This, that, third. People are gonna stare, right? Or have their own opinion. That's just the way life in the world works. She's not gonna care though. She's still gonna do it. She's still gonna pray. She's still gonna put her head against yours, against your head, and sit there and pray for you, right? She's not gonna care about what's going on the outside world, because to her it's just her and him. We as women have to be willing to take accountability and know when we are ready and when we are not ready, because sometimes we're not ready. A lot of us have that desire. Even I have that desire, but I also have the ability to know, and I'm willing to admit and take that accountability, and know that I'm not ready and prepared to be a wife. All right, so that is the end of this video. I really do not want to leave, because this is a topic that I could talk about so much. I could talk about it so much, y'all. And also, it's been a minute since I've been on, so I just want to stay on here all day and just talk to y'all. Well, all night, I should say. But yeah, I truly do have the intentions of helping people, helping people to be happy and be at peace. Hopefully helping them to get to that point where they're happy and at peace. You don't necessarily have to be in a relationship or married to be happy and at peace. And as a matter of fact, not everybody is meant to be married. It may not necessarily be in the cards for you. And the only way to really know if it is to talk to him. Ask him. Ask him for that clarity. Ask him for that guidance. Ask him for his will to be done. For his will over your life to be done. And not yours. Because I know a lot of us want things to go our way and want our wills to, happen. And it may not necessarily happen, you guys. In the Bible, it doesn't say that you have to get married. It says that if you feel that those feelings are so strong, he would rather you be married than to not be married, and you do things that people would do married while they're not married, if that makes sense, right? He doesn't want us just going out doing things or participating in things that we should not be participating in unless we're married, right? And there are a lot of, I guess you could say, speculations or assumptions of why that is. But I truly do think it's for protection, right? Like he's protecting us from a lot of things when there are things that when there are certain things that we should only be doing with the person that we are married to, right? Like sex, having children, or having kids. we're just going to use those two things for example. I don't even think people understand how much he actually protects us when it comes down to that. And I'm not even just talking about physically. Like, you know how many diseases are out there? He's protecting us from those. Spiritually, he's protecting us spiritually. He's protecting us energetically. He's protecting us mentally, emotionally, physically, and energetically, if I didn't say that right. So when he is asking us to do these things, he ain't asking us to do them because of his own selfish reasons, right? Like, most of the things that he's asking us to not participate in when it comes down to, you know, things you shouldn't do unless you're married. A lot of those things he's telling us not to do because he knows that if we do them without marriage, he knows the chances and the possibilities of us getting hurt or being traumatized or whatever the case may be are very, very high, right? And when you're married, I just found out what my next video is going to be about. When you are married, that's a covenant. And you have the ability and the chance and the possibility of getting hurt still, 1000%. It's not saying that you can't or that you will not. You have to ask yourself whether or not that's actually your husband, or whether or not y'all were even supposed to be married in the first place. Right? And so, yeah, that's it for this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. And also comment down below some topics, different topics that y'all want to see from me. Have a whole list of stuff, but I've crossed out most of them. And so I have to come up with more topics eventually. And like I've said in my previous videos, I hope that you guys take at least some of what I said into consideration and apply it to your lives, if not all. And be willing to become ready and become prepared, right? Because if being a wife is truly what you want, and being a mother is truly what you want, then you're gonna have to make sacrifices. You're going to have to be willing to grow and be willing to learn and be willing to not only I'm not getting into that. Be willing to learn. Be willing to be what you need to be as a wife. Okay? I really do not want to leave. I don't, but I am. Peace, guys. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.